Maybe you are that person. While others are sharing things, you are just watching. You have photos, but they all stay on your phone. You have memories, yet no one can see them. Is this a choice or an escape? Maybe it is a boundary that your soul silently protects, a shield, a mask, or maybe the opposite. You are invisible on social media. Your profile is empty, almost like a ghost. Sometimes people ask, "Why don't you ever post photos?" You smile and shrug. "I don't like it," you say. But that is not a complete answer, because something inside you is speaking quietly. Think about this for a moment. Invisibility is sometimes much more powerful than visibility, but sometimes it is a fear buried deep inside. Today, we will examine the psychological state beneath this silence through Carl Jung's perspective, the map of neurobiology, and maybe childhood traces you have never explored. This is not just a video about social media habits. This is about exploring why your soul made this kind of choice. Are you ready? First, let's accept one reality. Not posting photos on social media is not based on a single reason. People have many layers. Your silence may not resemble someone else's silence. Psychologically, we can divide this invisibility into 4 different archetypes. The first is the observer soul. You experience life. You don't record it. You are inside the moment, not the screen. Maybe as a child you were told, just watch quietly. Maybe your family dynamics required you to stay in the background. In a way, you became an invisible child. Now this has turned into a life philosophy. You live the world while others turn it into a performance, but you never learned how to perform. The second, the defensive shadow. In Jung's words, the shadow is where the parts we don't accept reside. Your shadow is full of fear of rejection. When you share a photo, there is a possibility of not being liked. You may be criticized, or worse, completely ignored. This is perceived as a threat by your nervous system. Your amygdala says, "There is danger." Your prefrontal cortex adds, "Then don't share." So not sharing becomes a safety strategy. The third, the minimalist rebel. You oppose the economy of visibility. You resist algorithms like counts, artificiality. This is actually a healthy way of setting boundaries. But sometimes, this resistance drags you into loneliness. You feel the need to withdraw because connections start to look fake. The fourth, broken mirror syndrome. Your self-love is low. When you look in the mirror, you hear a critical voice. "I'm not attractive enough. I'm not successful. I'm too ordinary to be interesting." This voice is not yours. It is the echo of a judgment you internalized in childhood. Maybe a parent, maybe a teacher, or maybe society constantly whispering, "You are not enough." Now think about these 4 types. Which one feels close to you? Maybe a little bit of all of them, because the human soul does not fit into a single category. Now let's take a step back. Was your decision to not be seen really a choice, or was it an adaptation? Jung says, every behavior was once necessary for survival. Maybe you were a child who did not attract attention. Be quiet. Don't cause problems. Be compliant. This can be a classic sign of emotional neglect. Your existence was not celebrated. No one really heard your voice. Over time, invisibility became a way of survival, or the opposite. Maybe you were always on stage as a child. Every success was praised. Every mistake was judged. This is also a type of trauma, a being that performs. Now as an adult, you avoid stepping into the spotlight because that light was never warm. That light was criticism. Another possibility, the parentified child. You were the one who set aside your own needs. You carried emotional weight in your family. Your invisibility remained as a form of sacrifice. Now this pattern reflects in all your relationships. You stay off social media because the thought "there is no space for me" is embedded in your subconscious. Let's look at this from a neurobiological perspective. In childhood, your brain was still in development. Your decision-making part, the prefrontal cortex, fully develops only around the age of 25, but your emotional response center, the amygdala, becomes active much earlier. If you often felt unseen in childhood, your brain may have coded this as being seen danger. This became a neural pathway. Now when you think about posting a photo, your old pathway activates. No, it's not safe. This is not a conscious thought. It is related to your body's memory. Trauma continues to live in your cells. According to Jung, the shadow is where our suppressed potentials live. What is in your shadow? Maybe you want to shine. Maybe you want to be seen. Maybe you are searching for the courage to say, I am here, but you suppressed these desires because pursuing them once caused pain. Now these desires stay in the shadow, and you avoid them. Not being visible on social media may show your relationship with your shadow. Jung says, one who does not confront the shadow will see it everywhere. So what do you feel when you watch others' posts? Envy, contempt, longing. These emotions are related to your shadows. The process of individuation starts with integrating the shadow. This does not mean completely changing. It means accepting all parts of myself. Maybe you want both to be seen and not to be seen. This contradiction is a natural part of being human. Let's talk about the Pura Aeternis archetype. Pura means eternal child. It is an energy that resists growing up, avoids commitment, and sees everything as possibility. Not posting photos on social media can sometimes be an expression of Pura. If I don't show myself, no one can judge me. If I don't have an identity, I don't have to stick to it. This looks like freedom, but it can actually be a prison. Because while living in a world full of possibilities, you move away from real connections. Jung's Senex archetype is the opposite of Pura. Senex means structure, responsibility, and loyalty. A healthy mind balances Pura and Senex. It creates harmony between freedom and commitment, flow and structure. Maybe your invisibility comes from Pura, being too dominant, or the opposite, from Senex's rigid rules. Social media is nonsense. I don't deal with such things. At both extremes, wholeness is lost. Now ask yourself, does not being seen give me freedom? Or does it deprive me of connection? The brain is a storytelling tool. Your brain created a narrative around not being seen. This story is supported by dopamine loops. When someone shares something on social media and gets likes, dopamine is released. Since you don't share, you are outside this cycle. This protects you from addiction, but it also distances you completely from the social validation system. The human brain is designed to belong to a group. Oxytocin is our bonding hormone. The vagus nerve is like a pathway that regulates social connection. If you constantly withdraw, these systems weaken. Social anxiety increases. From a neurobiological perspective, the rule use it or lose it applies. But here is something important to know. Your nervous system may be overly sensitive to stimulation. High sensitivity is a real neural trait. Maybe you cannot process too many stimuli at once. The disturbing noise of social media exhausts you. In such a case, withdrawing is healthy. The problem is the why. Are you withdrawing out of fear or out of self-care? This detail changes everything. Now let's come to the healing part. If your invisibility comes from fear, it is time for reparenting. Reparenting means managing yourself like a parent. Return to your inner child and ask, what do you want? Maybe they just want to be seen. Maybe they wanted to be appreciated. Maybe they wanted to hear, you exist, and that is enough. Now your adult self can give this. Share a photo, not to get others' approval, but for your inner child's approval. Look, this is me. I am here, and this is enough. This is a small step, but a big healing. Make peace with your shadow. Accept your desire to be seen. This does not make you selfish. It makes you human. Jung says, the one who illuminates their shadow is braver than the one who chooses to remain in darkness. Maybe you will never become a social media celebrity. Maybe you will only share one photo per year. That is completely normal. What matters is not how much, but why. If this choice is made with free will, it carries beauty. If this choice comes from old fears, you should pay attention. The process of becoming an individual is not about perfection. It is about wholeness. Embrace both the observer and the performer inside you, both silence and voice, both invisibility and existence. And most importantly, meet yourself, truly yourself, not behind the mask, in a place where there is no mask. Because the deepest truth is this: you can already be seen, at least by your own eyes. And that is enough. It has always been enough. Now I will tell you something. By watching this video, you have already taken a step. You dared to look into the depths of your own silence. This is not a meaningless act. This is spiritual awareness. Maybe now you understand yourself better. Maybe this process lightened your old fears a little. Or maybe this journey left you with the feeling, I am not alone. In any case, you have changed, because awareness is always a path of transformation. Remember, your path does not have to look like someone else's path. Your speed does not have to compete with the speed of social media algorithms. Your value cannot be measured by likes. You are already complete. There is no need to search for missing parts. You only need to notice what already exists. If this video gave you something, keep it. Remember it on bad days. And if you know someone who needs this video, share it. Because sometimes, understanding someone's silence is the most valuable gift you can give. That's all from me. But your journey is just beginning. Go. Meet yourself. Go. Dance with your shadow. Go. Embrace your inner child. And remember, even if you are not visible, you exist. Even if you don't share, you are valuable. Even if you stay silent, your voice is heard. Because existence is not an action. Existence is simply being. And you are here. You have always been here. You will always be here. Take good care of yourself. And keep in mind, your soul is your closest friend. Listen to it, trust it, and teach it how to find its way home. Because home is inside you. It always was.